welcome to Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids, a series of cautionary tales for lovers of scream. I've got a little friend inside my head. He's a greedy little worm called Envy. Always wants what other people have got. No, Spindleshanks, you cannot live in my other ear. If the worm can, why can't you? All right, go on, but no parties. See the trouble envy causes? I call this tale Tag. Terry Blotch was a spotty child. He had a face like a piece of nutty chocolate, all lumps and bumps and dirty sticking plaster. But I don't want you feeling sorry for Terry. He did rather bring it on himself. It all started when Jonathan Perfect rolled his marble into the playground. It was the hugest marble in the world and had a flashing light on top to stop aircraft from crashing into it. The point was, its owner became king for a day, and Terry was jealous. The little green worm of envy crawled into his ear and whispered,
"Why's that squirt getting all the attention? Pamela's only gazing at him like that because he's got a big marble. It's you she loves, really. Go on. Do something to make them notice you."
That mighty marble made Terry so jealous that all he wanted to do was make Jonathan cry. And the only way he could think of doing that was to steal something from the Marble King that the Marble King treasured. Strange as it might seem, however, it was not Jonathan who lost his marbles that day, but Terry. As any thief will tell you, stealing is a drug, and Terry was too weak to resist it. Before long, he was stealing sweets, comics, watches, badges, and CDs. He even stole a pet dog. But when it made a puddle on his duvet, he returned it with a nappy on. Then one day, he found himself alone in the locker room. His shifty eyes fell upon a gym bag, owned by a guy called Jim. Jim Spectre. Terry had never seen it before. Inside was a brand new football kit, just what he'd always wanted. The fact that each item was tagged with the boy's name didn't seem to bother Terry. He put the kit on and sauntered out into the playground, just as cool as you like. If he'd bothered to look back, he'd have seen Jim Spectre's peg disappear in a puff of purple smoke, leaving in its place a trickle of slime which ran down the wall and fried behind the radiator. Terry kept the kit on for the rest of the day, and because Jim Spectre never asked for it back, he assumed he'd got away with the perfect crime. What he didn't know was that Jim Spectre did not exist, because Jim Spectre was a ghost. An exceedingly law-abiding ghost who travelled through time and space in a never-ending quest to bring thieving children to justice. At supper that night, the kit started itching where the name tags were, and in the morning, Terry woke up to find his face covered in tiny purple lumps. The doctor took one look at them and declared, "Yuck, spots. No chocolate, no sugar, no sweets of any description. Sticky buns are out and fizzy pops are no-no. I recommend a long, hot bath and this.
A cheese grater?
Are you mad? I can't possibly grate my son. No, I recommend this for grating cheese. And yes, I am mad. Good afternoon. Ah! But that night in the bath, the purple lumps had spread. It must be chicken pox. Are any of your friends poxy chickens? Not as far as Terry knew, so it wasn't chicken pox. As he undressed for bed, the spots bubbled and bleeped. He tried to lie down, but the zits were itching. It was driving him mad. He tossed and turned and lay on his fingers, but he had to scratch. So he did. He screeched and scratched and clawed and scraped till he thought he would scream, because every time he scratched, a spot went pop, and it hurt him. Mummy! And his mummy came running. But as she tumbled into the room, she skidded on a sticky, gooey, custardy pool of gunk and somersaulted onto his bed. Yow! The pain was unbearable. Oh, my baby, don't cry. Ugh, what's wrong? Even Terry's mother couldn't hide her horror. Where once there had been spots, there were now name tags. Terry belonged to Jim Spectre. But the worst was yet to come. The biggest tag of all was stitched onto his neck. Thief. His mother tried to cut it off, but supernatural magic wouldn't let her. She tried nail scissors, she tried paper scissors, she tried kitchen scissors. She even tried a pair of garden shears, but none of them could cut through the stitching. Finally, she gave up. Is there something you've not been telling me, Terry? Terry gulped and poured out his confession. The next day, Terry went back to school. He hung his head in shame as he sloped through the playground. Nobody had ever seen a boy covered in name tags before. Then he returned Jim's gym bag to its original peg and ran outside as quickly as he could. If he'd bothered to look back, he would have seen Jim Spectre's bag disappear in a puff of purple smoke, leaving in its place a trickle of slime, which spelled out a ghostly message. Gotcha! And that night, the name tags vanished. Terry never stole again. He had the odd lapse when he looked at a chocolate bar in a sweet shop or passed an unpadlocked bicycle in the street. But it only ever took the tiniest of itches on the back of his neck to pull him round to his senses. If you've got itchy fingers and feel the need to dip into someone else's pockets, check whose pockets they are first. This coat, for example, belongs to a rat catcher, so I'll be getting a friend to do the thieving for me. See how dangerous that could have been?